Kerafix here, and I'm just giving up a quick video update for why there haven't been as many uploads this month as there were other months, such as September, October, and November. Well, there are a lot of factors to that, actually. For one, a good amount of it is my laziness. If you want me to give you an exact number, I would like to say 35% of all of the reasons why I haven't been uploading as much is definitely my laziness. I am a lazy person most of the time. But no, there are some other factors to it, and I'm going to get into them. One is that I have been running around a bit, doing things like going to do errands, going to the grocery store, taking people to place X, and being back to pick them up for place X and place X. And just also holiday season, so I have to go around doing all other things, decorating, making sure everything's going alright, shopping for presents, wrapping presents, yada yada yada, and delivering some presents to friends who don't live in this house that I live in. But along with that, there is a actual physical reason. It is called sleep apnea. I'm actually been diagnosed with this, and for those of you who don't know what this is, allow me to translate. Sleep apnea basically means I stop breathing at night, and for me, 8 hours of sleep is like, I'd like to say 1, maybe 2 hours of sleep to you guys. Not a nap. I mean, full on trying to go into deep sleep. It's like that. And 2 hours of sleep to me is like 8 hours of sleep to you guys. It's really, really weird. But basically, less sleep I get, the more energized I am. The more sleep I get, the less energized I am. So that does go into a factor to all of this. Now then, a lot of you may be like, hey Ice, a lot of people have to go through this, so why can't you just man up and do it? Well, there is other things to do it. For one, the recording process. For Digimon Story Cyrus Sleuth, there are a lot of things that I have to do for the recording of it. For one, each episode for the gameplay part is already pre-recorded. As for what I do for the talking and voice acting of that, I've started a new thing. It's become a bit more efficient and a bit easier for me to do than it was with the other ones. And for those of you who don't know, the very first time I started with editing my voice into the game, it was weird because I record my voice actually in the game. But then about May, I got really, really, really frustrated that, and you can see that in actually probably one of my worst admitted videos I will call ever. It is When I Meet Jimmy Ken. There's a small portion in there that will show you what I mean by I am done with this way of recording. I literally have the screen kind of go up just to break and show you that I have lost my sanity on this and I need to find a new way to record. So then I found this mic for a PS3, Xbox 360 USB connector one. It's very handy. It's a lot better than the old mic that I have had for recording. But this one does work a lot better, and the new way that I've been recording, which is via using the game itself for just the video and using voice recorder on my PC for all of the voice stuff. So yeah, that could be some of the reason why you hear some stuff funny. It could be the mic, could be the system. I have no idea what it is, but it is definitely a big factor of that. And another thing is that, you know, those Game of the Month things that I do? Yeah, those take a lot longer to do for me to give you an assessment of the game. First off, I usually at least try to get through most of the main story or all the main story. In most cases, I get through a very, 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 very big portion of the main story. At least I get to either 3/4 of the final boss, to the final boss, or I have already beaten the game. In many cases, you can see this by my opinion on the game and what I think of it. But, that will ultimately be a difference between game of how big of content they are. For instance, spoilers here, I do plan to put up Monster Hunter World for a Game of the Month, just not January or February because of its release date. So, Monster Hunter World will be probably, if I say, a March thing for me, and it shouldn't take as long as something like Digimon Story Hacker's Memory, if I'm correct of that title. But it shouldn't take as long because Monster Hunter doesn't have... It has a story, but the main thing that I'll be focused on for Monster Hunter is how it plays and how it works. That's the main thing with Monster Hunter 3. Different things will evolve into different parts of the thing. If I get a pickup on the story, I'll at least tell you how I feel about it so far. But along with that, it depends. Varied. Now then, another thing about the channel. Because it's been over a year since I actually started doing the gaming channel, I decided to, in about a year since I decided to change the channel name from Ice Knight to Knights Gaming League into something else, I've decided to maybe do a different thing for next year. You know, add something new so that I have something new to go into the new year with. And I'm figuring that the playthroughs are taking a while to get through. The Game of the Month thing is only once a month, so then what do I have in between those things for you guys to watch? Well, I've been thinking, and if you want to know, I've been thinking of doing more sort of top X videos. You know, like top 7, top 10, top this, top that, for certain times of the month. They may not be as frequent as other videos, and this such on and such on. Along with that, I've also been thinking of doing other playthroughs of games that don't need me to do the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuths treatment. And again, for those of you who don't know what I do with that, I basically record gameplay footage, take screenshots now so that I can actually have something that can stretch out over time, and do voice acting for different characters. Because Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and probably Digimon Story Hacker's Memory will be in Japanese subtitles. Well, sorry, not Japanese subtitles, English subtitles and Japanese dubbed. English dubs are a lot easier for me to go through, or games that are completely text-based are a lot easier for me to go through and don't need the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth treatment. So I've also been thinking of some of the games that I have that I could do that with, but to no surprise to anyone here, I've gone through literally most of these games. The only thing I could think of is maybe doing a Dark Souls thing of going through, like, certain bosses. I've been wanting to do that for a little while, but, it's Dark Souls. And I don't want to, screw myself over again for a little while. I'm not that masochistic. But I'm also thought about doing maybe a Digimon World Next Order, because I do like going through that game. It does have English voice acting in it. It doesn't take as much, thought for me to do something. But, however, there is one thing I would be annoyed about, and that would be having to do the on and off screen grinding. So, if I were to do that, then I'd be doing, like, showing you guys my progress through the story on YouTube and doing the grinding, a decent portion of it, maybe an hour or two, on Twitch on certain days of the week. So that way I can, maybe get that done. And speaking of Twitch, if you don't know, and again, no one's watched this at all, but I did do a Evil Within playthrough, and I'm not going to do the Evil Within all the way until October. I know, extremely long wait, why aren't you going to do this? It's for one simple reason. I have a rule with horror games, unless it comes to Dark Souls, and that is, I only want to do a horror game around October, whether I start it in sometime late September, start it on the day of October, or end it in like early November. It has to be generally around October, because that is the time that I feel horror games are the most effective for me. Otherwise, it's just like, eh. Now then, one other thing about this channel. I wanted to do something with it that was kind of neat and maybe a bit more unique. And I've seen that some people like to complain about bad video games, but, you know, that's not my style. I prefer to look at a video game and see what I like about it. If I really don't like a game, I won't show it to you guys, like, almost at all. If I don't like a game, not going to show it. And if I get extreme amount of rage from a game, not going to show it as much, because, let's just say I have a bad habit of saying a lot of words YouTube would say are, in those type of games. That's why I don't do, fighting games on here that much. But, however, I do plan on doing something else that maybe might express more to that. And that is a few series that I have thought up of, and would like to hear your guys' opinion about maybe sometime in the future. One of them is something I like to call the fails of, where I go into certain things, like the fails of a certain video game, the fails of a certain company, the fails of some sort of subject, like maybe, you know what, critics. Video game critics, movie critics, yada yada yada, stuff like that. I thought about doing that, but not in a CinemaSin style, just voicing my thoughts, concerns, and what I deem wrong with this kind of thing. And what I deem to be a big problem with this kind of thing, or whatever the topic is. You get the point. Another thing is that I wanted to do maybe something called Why Blank is Blank. I don't know. One topic I've been wanting to do for a little while is why do clones exist? Why do people cheat? And is cheating okay or something like that? You know, something like the game wrecks that they do eventually on certain subjects. Like this is kind of inspired by them, by the way. But I really do like those kind of videos. I like to voice my own opinion on it sometime and just get my thoughts out there. And a third and final one might be more exciting for you guys. It goes on to the topic of bad video games. Don't know what to call it, but basically I want to take a look at a game, see what's wrong with it, and see what can be majorly improved instead of just griping on and on about it. If they were to make a sequel to this, what could they do to make this game really, really better? Besides, you know, for certain games, taking out the loot boxes. Now then, one final thing to say, and something that you may either like to hear or not like to hear, depending on what type of person you are. But I will, after this, I may or may not be uploading one more video for the whole entire month. If it's not out by January 31st, I would say, then just say, nope, this video's not coming out. It's not going to be out until sometime into early January. It's definitely not going to be the first week of January, but it's definitely not going to be like super late into January either. I just need some time off to do some things. As I said, I am doing some things behind the scenes, writing scripts, writing down lists of things that I'd like to talk about and such. But anyway, I'd like to hear your comments below. What do you think about the series that I am planning of which one I want to do? And which one would you actually like to prefer? Would you like me going in-depth to certain topics that I like to talk about, like the game ranks do on certain things? Would you like me to go just say why this is, what's the problem with this, and so on and so forth? Or would you like me to actually look at a game and see what could be done to possibly make this game better instead of gripe about why this game is bad? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Please do make sure, again, comment down there what would you like to hear. Also, if you have any suggestions for top X list, please do put them down in the comments again. Because, you know, I do need some ideas. Sometimes I don't have enough ideas in my head of what I like to do. My ideas on what I want to do for top X don't usually come out as well. But, if you guys do have ideas, please do, again, note them in the comments below. And if you can't tell, I'm really hammering that. But also, like this video, subscribe to the channel for more. And for now, this is Ice signing out, possibly for the end of the year.